So I've also been playing a lot of Doom, but I think I've jumped on the Pokemon Go bandwagon as of.
So tell me about that.
As of today,
I'm fascinated.
So, not working for Nintendo, I feel like I'm not qualified to tell you how awesome it is, but it's an awesome augmented reality, like live version of Pokemon games. So when it's not glitching out, it is amazing. So you can walk around your city, walk around your neighborhood, and look at your phone, and it'll be like, there's a thing behind the bush, go check it out. So you walk behind the bush and you point your phone at it, and it like takes control of your camera and superimposes like a visual representation of that Pokemon over what you're looking at. So it's like, oh my god, it's an actual Beedrill in that bush. Cool. And like it's just really catching on right now. Like everyone I've been talking to today is like, are you on it yet? Are you on it? What's your name? Let's go hang out. Let's go, Pokemon things. And
but what do you actually do? Like once I know you throw Pokeballs at the Pokemon until you capture them.
Oh, you gotta catch them all, man.
And that's it? You're just catching them all?
There's more.
Okay.
There's more. I don't know what. It's been one day. But, no, you catch them, you battle them, you trade them, you check them out, you tickle them, they're cute, they laugh, it's good times all around.
Sweet.
And it's good for our child viewers that we have, all 200 of them.
That's right, all 3 of them.
Yeah.
You had an interesting suggestion for Pokemon Go today on Twitter.
I tweeted that if Nintendo really wanted to help out America, what they could do is
let's give them that burden.
Is put all the most valuable Pokemon in the most disadvantaged neighborhoods in America, so that basically if people wanted to go catch like a gold Mewtwo or something, then they'd have to like go to.
They take the train down like 95th and.
Yeah, exactly.
They would have to be very brave. They would have to earn that Pokemon.
Well, I mean, there's that, but also like, I mean, not all the disadvantaged neighborhoods are like inner city neighborhoods.
Sure.
There's also like, just places that are.
There's also a cornfield in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, exactly.
Sure.
And but if it became known that sort of like all the most valuable Pokemon always spawned in this area, you'd get like lots of repeat traffic, and I mean, there's like retail benefits to that, but there's also like if you could treat it like a natural resource, where if the local people control access to that area or capture all those Pokemon and offer valuable trades or whatever, then it becomes like a source of income basically for that area.
You just created a new black market for Pokemon.
Use this power for good, Nintendo, not
Good
evil.
only.
I mean, there's going to be a black market for Pokemon with or without this idea.
You're not wrong, but no, you're absolutely right. That's a very interesting thing they could do with that.
But yeah,
I
doubt that.
I think it's powerful though, because it does. You can do a lot of stuff with it, right? You can drive traffic to a particular location during a particular time period if you wanted to run limited events. I mean, there's a whole bunch of like different levers you can pull because of the locational stuff. I think.
Oh, sure. Like I know they're already organizing, just people on Facebook I've seen in social media are organizing meetups where they can, go to Millennium Park and all talk about their Pokemon or trade Pokemon and do this. And the game's been out a day, so clearly it's tapping into something.
Yeah,
but,
I mean it's. I mean, think of the popularity of Pokemon and the unpopularity of geocaching, and you put those together.
Just going outside, and bring it together.
It's like Skittles and salmon.
No.
But yeah, that's. I mean, it sounds awesome, actually.
It's cool. I'm excited to see.
Do you think? What do you have so far?
Got a Charmander.
Oh,
What's your starter Pokemon? What do you start
good.
with?
That's a good question. I haven't played that much Pokemon. I played Pokemon X and Y, and I thought it was garbage. Like just
hot take.
I can either confirm or deny, but I'll say I come from the generation that liked red and blue and yellow.
Yeah, I actually bought my wife a Game Boy Color so she could play Pokemon Blue again because she really wanted to do that. But I didn't play the classic. I played the card game and I watched the TV show, but both only casually. And so I'm not steeped in it. And then when I got into Pokemon X and Y, I was like, there's way too many Pokemon. I don't know what any of them do. What are these classes? What do they mean? I printed out a sheet of like how they all like relate to each other, all the classes.
And it looks like a spider web,
this is
right?
super effective against this or whatever. Well, it was a spreadsheet, but so it was like, oh, like somebody just attacked me with this. Okay, I have one of these.
It's so much more complicated now.
And then you can hold things, and you can have them wear things, and you can give them gems and pills, and like exercise them. There's all these exercise mini games. I was like, what the hell is going on?
So whatever happened to just spamming Ice Beam all day? Like that was my game.
Yeah, or just like tail whip.
Yeah.
It's super effective.
The Pokemon are cool in themselves. If it was just like a virtual pet game, I feel like I might even enjoy it more, which sounds like Pokemon Go is a little closer to that.
A little closer to that. I like the getting out in the world and exploring stuff. Like that makes it more realistic, or at least more true to the concept of being a Pokemon trainer. Because I always thought it was kind of funny, like, okay, so Pokemon trainers travel the whole world, having adventures, meeting cool people, and broadening their horizons
and fighting
learning
them with animals.
And learning lessons about friendship, and yes, then fighting animals. But all of those good virtues are spent, in your chair, plugged into the wall, looking at a screen this big.
We are definitely going to see a scenario in the near future where there's just some warehouse that everyone goes with their Pokemon, and it's just a huge illegal betting ring. People throwing dollars in there.
You've just said Peter's worst nightmare.
But there's
all kinds of Pokemon blood everywhere.
But I guess no animals were harmed during
because
this?
they faint.
Yeah, that's
and then
right.
you can just restore them really easily if you go to Nurse Joy. Yeah, it would be cool if every 1,000th person became Nurse Joy, and you'd have to go find Nurse Joy and be like, please revive my Pokemon.
It's like you walk out on Addison and there's a girl cosplayed as Nurse Joy.
Well, it wouldn't have to literally. It could be some guy named Juan. It doesn't matter. But they have the role of healer.
That'd be cool. You have to go meet somebody.
Yeah, just to
All the
continue
social
the
interaction.
ARG theme.
And I'd be like, $20.
Oh.
I'll just find another Nurse Joy. Sorry, buddy.
There can be
$2.
Okay, fine.
So I was actually talking about this with a friend earlier. Do you think that the signups are being hurt for Pokemon Go because they're having a lot of server trouble right now? Or is that just a symptom of everyone's playing it right now?
It's just a temporary setback. I'm sure if I know Nintendo that they will fix that very soon, and I know that people will be patient enough to wait. I know that in the meantime everyone's like, oh no, I can't get on, I'm sad. But I don't think it's going to alienate them to the point where they're like, never again. I think they'll get cranky for a week and then
if
come
a
back.
Pokemon is on private property, is it owned by the person who owns that property? If somebody goes and they capture, say they're on the sidewalk and they throw Pokeballs
into that yard.
Into the yard, exactly. And then they catch the Pokemon and somebody sees them. I don't know. Do they have cause for, can they file suit?
That sounds like a law school essay, and I want it to be, because I think there's a good argument to be made that, yes, that's private property on that land, and that if you're throwing a Pokeball over their fence, if you threw a rock, it would be an intrusion, it would be an assault, and
it's all virtual, though.
And a trespass. So yeah, what harm is being done by virtual trespass? It's the deep question for cyber hackers.
Well, I
out
mean,
there.
It's loss of property.
Loss of property, sure.
Yeah, it
I'd
could be
love
loss
to
of
litigate that one. Loss of intellectual property, for sure.
That was my gold Mewtwo, whatever.
I want to see that litigated. I want to see that in court. I want to see an 80-year-old judge trying to make sense of the argument.
Now, tell me, who was the first Pokemon? It was Arceus. And he created the world and the universe.
Oh, you're
And
drawing
what
deep
does this
from
have
the
to do
lore.
with Snapchat?
Oh boy.
Says, that's later in the day, Your Honor.
That's the next case.
That's right.
I've never thought about that before, but I'll be thinking about it later. That's a good idea.
Yeah, let's talk more about more things. So you're on the board of the IGDA.
That's true.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you.
I forgot that.
It's
part of
been
your
6
credentials.
months.
It's been a little bit. No, IGDA rocks. I love everything we're doing. We are planning some amazing talks. We're going to be having one about. It's going to be a multifaceted talk, but it's going to be about sensitivity to people with unique needs, whether that's people who suffer from particular triggers or people who
colorblind,
colorblind people, mentally ill people, people who,
custom controllers,
people
for
who
disabilities.
are anxious or have anxieties, how to be sensitive to those people, how to make games to better serve those people, how to make games accessible to all those people in different ways, and just kind of raise the level of dialogue in the community about it. You know, kind of being very transparent, but very respective to all of that as well.
So I'm very conscious of that stuff at making a game for kids because they don't have as many sort of self-protection mechanisms for like if a game is like not colorblind friendly or if they have dyslexia and they are having trouble reading. I'm using the open dyslexic font and I'm just trying to like make it as accessible as possible because like if you're a grown-up and you paid $10 for a game and you pop it in, it's like this isn't really playable for me. Like that's not going to do a lot of emotional damage to you as a grown-up, but it could as a kid.
If you're the one kid in the class that doesn't understand and it just doesn't make any sense for you and everyone's like, well, why don't you get it? And it's because it's something specific. Yeah, I totally get it.
Yeah, this is going to be a good gathering.
Yeah, making media inclusive in all ways possible is very important, and also for minors, that's a whole other aspect. Is how do you treat people's privacy with respect, especially when they're children. That's a very hard line to walk.
Microtransactions.
Oh, microtransactions. Yes, that's privacy law. That's gambling law. That's everything.
Anything. Like any like big goals for the IGDA or stuff as like developers that we can do to support the IGDA in Chicago?
Join, pay your dues.
Yes, that is always good. The IGDA is here to support you. The IGDA is really trying to be a hub network of community for everyone in every city where there's a chapter and ones where there are not chapters. So if your town does not have a chapter, start one. The IGDA is always trying to provide different resources, whether they be educational, financial. We have a lot of grants available for people working in particular fields and projects, and we're really all about building community and fostering dialogue between game developers, artists, business people, lawyers, everyone who's part of the games industry. They're not all programmers, there's a whole host of different people.
An excellent transition for CBGLS.
Yes.
The Chicago Video Game
CBGLS is my pet project. The Chicago Video Game Law Summit is exactly what it sounds like. We went with a very literal name again.
If you can decipher what it sounds like, then it's exactly like that.
That too.
It's actually good. It might be the first good name we've had on the podcast.
They're all good. What are you talking about? We have a great podcast.
Well, the podcast name is kind of terrible. The hats have this huge long name.
Many men who wear many hats. My company's Important Little Games, pretty long.
But you, sir, at least have picked a short...
Well, I had to. When you've got a name this long, you got to bring it in, man.
That's true.
The Chicago Video Game Law Summit, it's a long thing. But what it amounts to is I wanted to have a place where lawyers in the industry could talk to other lawyers in the industry, but more importantly, where they could talk to game developers. Because up until very recently, most game developers and people who make games, who make art, who make music, who make video, who do creative things, don't always interact with the people who handle the business aspects of what they make. They don't always have an opportunity to have a long conversation with their accountant, with their tax advisor, with their lawyer, with their business manager, their investor. And I think that these two groups have a lot that they can learn from each other. I think that lawyers especially have a lot that they can learn from their clients, how to better protect what they're doing. There's too many lawyers out there who don't really understand video games, who are dabbling and maybe not providing the best service that they can because they don't know as much about technology. And then in the same way, there's a lot
it's a very new field, right? There's so much going on and changing.
Oh, absolutely. And I think there's a lot of developers out there too who, if they knew a little bit more about some legal protections, that they might put themselves in a much better bargaining position when they're talking to publishers, when they're talking to retailers, when they're making content, when they're building teams. I think that just kind of sharing that information between these two groups is very important. So the Chicago...
What do you think of the sort of the market of video game lawyers? I mean, I don't know a lot of video game lawyers, but I do know a couple. And do you feel like you're enough to cover all the video game companies, or is there...
We're trying, I know. It's a small pool, to be sure. It's a new, like you said, it's a fairly new concentration. I mean, in regard to the legal profession, which is eons old, but it's a very niche profession. It takes a particular kind of skill set to deal with the issues that crop up in video games because it is such a multiplicitous
Seems
field.
like, yeah, it's a lot of specialties in one. I mean, there's people who just do, entertainment contracts or just do patents or just do, and it seems like you have to do all of those
It's a lot of different things. You have copyrights, you have trademarks, you have patents, you have all the IP protections, but then you also have business contracts, corporate law, you have employment law when you're hiring people, firing people, bringing people in and out of teams, incorporating businesses. You have the kind of privacy issues that you talked about. We have the kind of gambling issues we talked about with prizes and slot machines and in-game purchases. We have the right of publicity, which is what people actually look like when you can put people in your game in a realistic way. Can you put a celebrity in or not? And then, of course, just good old-fashioned free speech, what you can and can't say in games, because it wasn't until my lifetime that video games were even considered art that they could even qualify for free speech, that they were put into that same category as books and music and everything else that we treat as media.
Yep. So it might be an opportunity for aspiring lawyers
in a video game.
What can you not say in a video game?
Can you have a video game that shouts fire in a crowded theater?
Just put it on repeat.
Yeah, just like I bring my 3DS into a theater and it keeps saying fire, fire, because it's a shooting game.
Right? No, that makes sense. No, it's funny that you ask that because there are some things you can't say, and it's not because the government doesn't want you to say them. It's the opposite. It's because the private sector doesn't want you to say them because you have your
like libel type things.
Part of that, but you have your First Amendment right to express yourself the way that you want, and that's fine if you want to say it on a street corner in a public place, or if you want to put it into print and distribute it, or put it into game and distribute it. But if you want to distribute that game in a private place, for example, on any kind of game any kind of app store, Steam, all the console markets, if you want to sell it like in a brick and mortar establishment, Best Buy, Target, anywhere, you're going to have to abide with their policies and their regulations. A lot of these retailers don't want to sell games that are catered for adults or that might have extremely sexual or violent or hostile content in some way. Not because it's constitutionally banned, but because it might hurt their profits. It's just it's PR, so that's something to be aware of. You can make a game that's a murder simulator or a rape simulator. You can make a game with any kind of content, but you have to be aware that you might be limiting your market for that if you're making that content.
It reminds me of Smuggler Truck. Do you guys remember?
No, I don't know that
story.
It's familiar.
It was a game it was called Smuggler Truck originally, and the idea is you're just like bringing illegal.
Like a pickup. I remember this.
And then it was deemed too political for the App Store, so they changed the Mexicans to teddy bears, and that's it.
And that just
it's
made
the
it
same
okay.
game.
Just a new skin.
It's now Smuggler Truck instead of Smuggle Truck, and yeah.
Brilliant.
There you go. I mean, that's an example of a private marketplace, self-regulating.
I want to say that itch.io is actually one of those stores that has no...
So free, yeah.
Yeah, it has no, content policy. There's still things that are legal, obviously, but they don't have
the
any...
Android App Store is pretty free as well. There's probably some things that Google won't stand for, but it's really...
their policies are a lot looser than Apple's for sure. Any other things to plug?
Yeah,
you're also
CVGLS, where do we find out about that?
Say again?
CVGLS, where do we find out?
CVGLS.com.
Okay.
So if you missed the symposium this year, you can see all of the video of all the panels this year. You can also see links to some amazing games that were featured in our game showcase at CVGLS.com. So check it out. It's all free. It's all good content, and we'll be coming back again next year with even more.
Super sweet.
Very cool.
And IGDA is, of course, IGDA.org.
The VGA gallery again?
VideoGameArtGallery.com.
Very cool. So I guess we'll do final wrap.
And LoadingLaw.com.
All right.
I'm Kiwan Hong at Kiwan Hong. My game is Contract Work at Contract Work Game on Facebook.
And I'm Bobby Locks. My Twitter handle is Bobby Locks with an X. And I'm working on Codemancer, codemancergame.com.
And a reminder, please like our Facebook page. We need the likes. That's
like
the
our
place
Facebook page. Go talk to InnoPrints. Go talk to Marty. And
Follow us on Twitter.
Follow up with Ross if
Absolutely.
you have questions about law and video games and art and being a handsome gentleman. He knows about all
All the
those
above.
things. Great.
Thanks so much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Till later.